Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I must pay my best gratitude, my extensive regards to all the eminent researchers, scientists, different multifarious academicians, various talented educational global exponents, my beloved students, and the best and wonderful global community of data. This is my exclusive privilege to expound regarding one of the very promising matters which has occupied the entire world already in terms of learning, that is experiential learning. So I always think for all the students, they who are coming, they who are really in a very proud position to think about this most significant part of their lives, that is experiential learning, how it is being developed, how it is being successful, how it is going to draw the best attention amongst us. It really matters. That is exactly what I do feel from Kolkata, India. I am Dr. Rudrarup Gupta, one of the Sustainable Cosmos ambassadors, global change makers, and on the other hand, I am the SDG expert of Green Thinker Society, which is under United Nations. At the same point of time, I am the cricket commentator as well, which has been approved by BCCI. Actually, I do represent a very promising channel cum media platform entitled Sports Flashes, which is one and only audio broadcaster under BCCI right now in all over the world. So experiential learning means a lot. Experiential learning provides the best to the students. How it is possible? I have seen an exclusive message which has been composed by me, that is, a mind navigates the avenue of knowledge. Yes, mind always the navigation to generate knowledge, to incur knowledge, to disseminate the knowledge to our entire society, to our entire nation, to our entire globe. And it is going to be transformed in terms of an exclusive performance and wonderful platform of achievement at the same point of time. So what does it ensure? First of all, experience. Yes, I'm going to do something on my own. That means what? That means I'm going to gain an exclusive experience at the end of the day, and that is going to be absolutely enriching and engaging for the students, for the learners as well. Learning, as I have told you, the way we are gaining experience, it is going to be absolutely ensured in terms of learning as well, because I'm going to do something which is absolutely unknown to me, and that is why I'm very elated, I'm very excited to do so and to find out the best pathway at the end of the day. That means what? It is nothing apart from an exclusive learning which can never be lost sight of, because the way we are gaining the same, we have to memorize the same throughout our lives, and that is how we are in a position to develop ourselves in a very befitting manner. Then thinking, yes, once the concept of learning is ensured, we are in a very proud position to think about it a lot, and that is going to be very enriching and encyclopedic for us to think what exactly we are going to do, how it is going to be possible, what are the best future consequences if I do something which is related to experiential learning, and at the same point of time I'll be knowing about my strengths, about my weaknesses. This is something which is absolutely beneficial since we are starting our journey, since the concept of experiential learning which is really under our grips. Execution. Once both the thinking and learning are equally ensured, equally sound in terms of us to execute, of course, this execution will be undoubtedly successful, I tell you. Because education means a lot in this world. I'm just going to throw some most significant lights upon education. E, enrichment. D, dedication. U, unprejudiced thoughts. Whereas C signifies classification, A, ambition, T, tenacity, I, ignition, O, opportunity, and finally N signifies the notion. This is how I have segregated this wonderful concept of education, and this is comprehensively related with experiential learning. This should be the most and prime focus for each and every institutes ever in the history of education in all over the world, because every student must have to have some additional space, additional platforms to work upon individually according to their liberties. So in this regard, this concept of experiential learning means a lot to them, because they are going to do something innovative through their own, and they are in a prior position to find out such solution which is going to create an exclusive history after a certain stage of their lives. Yes. Reflections. What are the prior reflections of this magnanimous and most magnificent concept? First of all, self-courage. Of course, it is as simple as that. If I do something and that is absolutely approved by the entire society, that I did something which is very special, I did something which is absolutely beneficial, I did something which is far-reaching, I did something which is absolutely encyclopedic in terms of gaining some wonderful occupational exposures. That is how I do gain some additional courages, and this courageous format of mine will be reflected in my own professional era. And that is why I'm here, or I do suggest all of my students, all of my benevolent and most aspiring students to come over here just to learn something under this most magnificent and awesome concept of experiential learning. Self-confidence, yes. As I'm gaining some experiences, as I'm in a very, very comfortable zone to implement the concept of self-courage and the concept of experiential learning, I really am in a prior position to gain some of the outstanding exposures. And this is how I do enhance my self-confidence. This is how entire world should do that, just according to me, according to my very, very natural thought. After that, self-vision. Yes, as I was talking about the concept of self-vision, yes, it is very, very riveting for the students, because without vision, how it is possible for them to be grown up? How it is possible to conceptualize that very concept called experiential learning? How it is possible for them to generate additional experiences? And how it is possible for them to execute the same for the better learning? These are the points to be noted for every individual institutes and their authorities, because I have the command to share the same from the core of my heart in favor of all those aspiring students, they who are in a very, very prior platform to learn something which is or which are simply beyond the box in nature. Finally, self-judgment. All these self concepts are under the 5 tenets of life. Self-judgment. I must judge what exactly I am going to do. I must judge whether I am into the right direction or not, and accordingly I must drive myself in a different dimension for tomorrow, because experiential learning is something which is going to navigate the exclusive pathway for us, not only to execute the same, but to stimulate the entire world, stimulate the entire globe in a different fashion. It is absolutely important for present day sustainability. I must tell you that. After that, positive outcomes. What are the positive and most worthy outcomes which will be absolutely ensured through this great and grand concept of experiential learning? First of all, self-satisfaction. Yes, I must be satisfied after doing something, after doing some outstanding innovations in all over the globe. After that, self-promotion. Once the discovery is generated, once the discovery is ensured, once it is approved by the seniors, once it is approved by all the global leaders, now the next task will be to promote the same in a very, very magnificent dimension of learning. Otherwise, the way I have taken the entire learning, it shall not be at all focused, it shall not be at all highlighted, and I shall not be able to stimulate all of you. That is why this is my one of the requests, one of the opinions which I am sharing from the best seashore of my feeling. Self-planning. Once both the satisfaction and promotion are just in my grip, then only I can plan for something. I can plan for different innovations through implementing these exclusive and existing concepts of experiential learning. Now, say for example, I am going to innovate an exclusive theory of management. How it is possible? First of all, I must search some outstanding literature survey. I must search some outstanding viewpoints of different visionaries, different global leaders, different global followers. Then only I'll be able to generate something which is or which are simply in my grip, in my focus, in my territory to implement and to execute the same accordingly. And it is of course depending upon the present market scenario. I must tell you this, otherwise it shall be mismatched and we shall all be in definite troubles. Last but most notably, self-decision. Once my execution cracks, once my execution does matter a lot, then self-decision will be absolutely focused and reflected. That is why this is my suggestion again to all the aspiring students and learners. Don't waste your time. Always think something very, very innovative. Move out of your home, walk upon the street and be judgmental, do observe everything and inculcate those observations and try to transmit and transform the same into your better thinking, your better constructive cognition, so that you shall be able to utilize this fantastic concept of experiential learning, and finally you shall undoubtedly be successful. Essence of pandemic. How did we lose ourselves during last pandemic or previous pandemic? We have lost our desires. We have been absolutely reluctant, I tell you, and that has been one of the prime causes for us to go back, not go in front, right? After that, lack of patience. Yes, it is one of the valid points which we have been suffering since pandemic. We are losing our patience at every individual moment, at every individual second, but it should not be done because we are the learners. We shall have to utilize this concept of experiential learning, and we shall have to develop our societal mode, our wonderful stand-up society, and that is going to be absolutely flawless in nature in the near future once our discoveries will be stimulating the rest of the globe without any fail. Mental disorders, different mental disorders have taken place, And that is why we have been suffering from different mental diseases. Some of the diseases are absolutely curable, some of the diseases are not easily curable. So what shall we have to do? We shall have to do some better experiments, right from our body, right from our mind, right from our psychological standing to our wonderful present scenarios, so that this wonderful concept will be in a different shape, and as a matter of the fact would be, we shall be learning something extra, something better, and that better learning will be providing us the extensive and far-reaching satisfaction if we do really follow the concept, really follow the future consequences of this wonderful and most fascinating concept of experiential learning. Okay, exclusive advantages. Yes, we are discussing about experiential learning, but we did not discuss about the advantages. What is it? Let us discuss and let us throw some lights upon the same. First of all, sound lesson. Yes, I did something, I did some innovations for the entire globe. Finally, I got a lesson. What exactly I learned? I learned something from the perspective of execution. I learned something from the perspective of different implementation of resources. I learned something from the perspective of wonderful driven cognitions and cognitive reflections, and after that we are step in for something called conception. Since we have been stepped in for conception, this new conception will be navigating an exclusive era for each one of us, and of course we shall have to implement our own thoughts. We shall have to implement our intelligence. We shall have to utilize our cognitive reflections. We shall have to implement our best qualitative measures. Then only this concept will be high, higher and highest, and it will be in a different shape of multifarious possibilities and probabilities. Exclusive participation. Once this concept is entirely in our grip, once we did plenty of experiments very successfully in both national and international stature, then only this wonderful concept of participation will be just in our favors. We shall have to participate in different domains. We shall have to participate in different dias. We shall have to participate in different events, so that this learning will be absolutely in our grips, not only to execute but to store and preserve some most historic learnings, I tell you very, very confidently, and it shall be happened within a very, very short period of time. Adequate practice. We need the adequate practice to participate. We need the adequate practice to conceptualize this concept called experiential learning, so that it is going to be very, very enriching and encyclopedic for the entire mass to inculcate, entire mass to accommodate, just to share the same and existing concept of this learning, as if they all are comprehensively benefited in the end. The future results, as I have already discussed about the consequences a bit, now the ready reflections are absolutely knocking at our doors. That is future results. Inculcation of thoughts. Once this discovery provides me a lot, once this discovery provides the entire nicety to the entire globe, at that very point of time, our inculcated thoughts are into the actions. All the thoughts are really profitable, all the thoughts are really productive, all the thoughts are really, really profitable for us to bring out this metamorphosis in the society, in our nation, in all over the globe, just within a blink of an eye. Appropriate implementation. Implementation of what? Implementation of our collective qualitative measures. Implementation of our collective educational standing. Implementation of our wonderful probabilities of learning. And last but most notably, the exclusive modesty and genuinity of this concept called experiential learning, where we have the extensive exposures, where we do have the exclusive experiences, and finally we have come to know how to implement those thoughts for making this concept absolutely successful in both national and international standing. And that is how we should be desirous to be successful collectively. Pure experimentation, yes, that has already been discussed, but again I am telling you the same mantra. Before experiments, please do practice with yourself. Please do think about you. Please do think about your both strengths and weaknesses, both negatives and positives, so that your combined solution will be taking place very shortly, and that is going to be just in your favor within a blink of an eye. And I really must congratulate once your discoveries will be absolutely famous in terms of the entire global metamorphosis and global sustainability. Exclusive culmination of education, culmination of experience, culmination of learning, culmination of different and dynamic implementations of both planning and decisions. The real scopes, yes, if I have the same and most commendable grip of this concept called experiential learning, first of all, I shall have the prominence to walk upon in such a way as if I am really the best winner ever in the history of education, in the history of learning. And that prominence will be bringing out something called diligence. This diligent nature is highly needed, highly required right now in all the regards. Without diligence, this concept of hard working will not be at all possible. At the same time, if I do not do this work, which are absolutely very hard in nature, how shall it be possible for us to conquer the success? How it is going to be possible for us to ensure our betterment of future? That is why be passionate, be diligent all the times. Once this wonderfully acclaimed concept of experiential learning is just in your favor, in your grip. And finally, magnificence. It is as simple as that. If you know the track, if you know the magic of experiential learning, if you know how to innovate a theory, if you know how to invent an exclusive formula which is going to be incorporated in our betterment, in our exclusive advancement of lives, then it is very simple. You are truly magnificent in terms of your both contributions and performances. The prime hopes. Inculcation and perception of thoughts will be contributing together for the society if you know what are the best possible ways to implement your discoveries. How shall it be channelized in enriching our societal standing? How it is going to be absolutely in our favor to re-innovate the same once it is required. Always be comfortable and be absolutely confident. Both confidence and your comfortable progress are equally important, equally riveting for you to implement this wonderful concept of experiential learning in all over the globe and to snatch the best victory ever in the history through your own cognitive reflections and perceptions. Utilization of what? Utilization of your brains, utilization of your collective qualitative measures, utilization of your communal academic solidity, and your exclusive undeniable desires. Then only this concept will be definitely famous. This concept will be definitely accepted by the mass just within a very short while. The actual need of experiential learning, where it is very, very needful, where it is absolutely appropriate, and how it is possible. If you desire to grow this concept, you need the active manpower. They who are the scholars, they who are absolutely diligent and intelligent as well at the same time. They who know how to provide the best from their collective ends within a short while. And if they all are prepared to grow the concept collectively, and if they do realize these contributions will be bringing out an exclusive era in the near future, not only in education but in progressing our lives very confidently without any further hazards, then this concept is absolutely successful, and all the active manpowers will be converted into the wonderful concept of leaders. Who are the best leaders? They who do know the best learning, they who do conceptualize the concept of enrichment, they who are purely ambitious to prove something absolutely new and absolutely interesting, they who do perceive about their own destinies to come, they who are very, very passionate and emotional to love their jobs, and most notably, they who do really realize and feel what is reformation. Because being one of the successful citizens of India, I must reform the entire system. I must refine the entire educational progressions. I must change the wonderful paradigm of research. Then only it is possible, and it is definitely possible for our communal victory just within a while. The sustainable image, yes, involvements of collective brains and communally like-minded people, they who are here under the same umbrella to prove this wonderful and most far-reaching concept of experiential learning, where they have had plenty of various experiences, and they who are in a very prior position to do some extensive and profound researches with each another and to find out the best common solutions indeed in style. Effort. They must provide the effort in such a manner which is very, very systematic, which is absolutely in a prime zone of our present day focus, which is absolutely very, very comfortable, very, very hazardless and compassionate. Without compassion, it is not at all possible for them to accumulate the thoughts, accommodate the same under the same channel. Once it is absolutely channelized, once it is managed, collectively managed, nothing like it. They'll be just flyer. They'll be flying in the sky because they shall have the wonderful domain and discipline to fly for this outstanding victory after innovations. Now, experiential learning is an appealing alert for sustainability. As I have told you for the several times during this last 30 to 40 minutes, that is, it is bringing out an undeniable sustainability. it is going to snatch the victory. It is going to provide us the needful breads and butters. It is going to bring out the histrionic changes within a very short while. But we must be united. We must be matching our common thoughts with each another without any fail. We must be educated in a very comprehensive manner right from day one. We must be very compassionate just to prove the same one after another. We must be having the same feeling, not only to realize for the entire globe, but to feel for all those persons, all those human beings, they who are in absolute need to sustain. And last but most interesting fact is, we are the human beings, we are the reflections of our Almighty. So this is our collective moral responsibilities to save the entire world. And that is why that very concept has already been famous, that is go green, go global. We must save the rest of the globe from the perspective of human beings, from the perspective of plantations, from the perspective of all the animals which are of different kinds. And finally, we must ensure our communal and collective victory, because this victory will be absolutely stimulating in nature for the next generation. And that is how we are in a prior position to let everybody to be into the most evergreen zone according to their beliefs, according to their moralities, according to their responsible behaviors, according to their communal, collective and most commanding successes. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best.